Who would have thought that I would look this gorgeous on episode 4?
Not me.
Excuse me.
We're rolling.
You had a doubt about my...
We're rolling.
Okay. Hi, how is everyone?
Hello.
It's us, we're back. You and me and Malls, you know, the iconic duo.
You hate to see us coming.
A
box of chocolates hates to see us coming.
Yeah, a box of gummy worms hates to see us coming.
Oh my gosh, we devoured those.
That's the truth.
Ethan was like, we went to the store the other day, and I was like, can we get some gummy worms? He's like, yeah, sure, where are they? I knew exactly where they were.
She navigated the grocery store. She navigated that Sprouts like it was a laser maze in like a James Bond movie.
I was so ready. I would like, if the minute I heard the constant Y and his yes, I was like, gone.
Yeah,
I was already there.
She was like, I have confirmation received, and gummy worms will be received within the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, we will secure them.
And you know what? They were great. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, so today's gonna be a quick episode, but it's an important one. We're talking about body image.
Yeah. Having an image of your body.
And what it does to your head.
Yeah. I mean, do you like your body? Let's just get right into it.
I do. I do like it.
Do you? Be honest.
Some days I don't.
Okay.
Today I do.
Good. I mean, you've got a great bod. I like my body.
Yeah. You gotta be like Samantha in Sex and the City. She's like, I don't have anything to change about myself, you know?
Yeah, or like honestly, that should be the mentality. Because I think so many people, like, especially when you're young, like I always think about kids and like they don't have any insecurities, you know, when you're a little kid.
It's very interesting how children have no insecurities and then like teenagers have the most insecurities. And now I think about like 16-year-old Molly, and she was like struggling, and I'm in a much better place than her now.
No, same. Like,
yeah,
I'd say like 12 to like 16 or 17 was like
the worst,
the harshest time I've ever like felt about my own body and like how I look, all of that. I don't know, and I think part of that is just like maturity, or what is it called, puberty, where your body's changing, and it's like it's a lot of like it feels very different.
It's also comparison. It's also when you go through puberty, people start commenting on it. It's like we as a society give children a permission to look whatever way they look because we know that they'll like slim out or they're a baby, like they can control it. That's a really good point. Yeah. But then once you're 12, you have your own more autonomy over what you're eating. And it's now your responsibility. So people are trying to be like, oh, you gotta lose some pounds. And it's like, no place. That's not their place.
It's all socialized.
People feel like they can say that because you're a kid, but you're also like learning this new part of yourself. Yeah. Yeah. And your relationship with your body changes a lot. Yeah. So.
I know. Part of me wishes we like never lost that. You know what I mean? Like,
I know. It's so sad.
Because as a kid, you're so at peace. Like,
you eat whatever you want to eat. You're like, I'm going to have that 5th slice pizza.
Yeah, you walk around with your belly out, like, all the things.
And I honestly think...
You could be bald and you could be, like, 3 years old and no one cares.
Yeah.
You know, like...
Did your parents talk about, like, what was that like for you?
What?
Because I feel like you have a much healthier relationship with food than I do.
Do you think?
But that might not be true.
Well... It ebbs and flows. I would say my mom instilled in me healthy eating very young. Uh-huh. And so she was kind of an almond mom. Like, we'd always have, like, carrot sticks as a snack.
Yeah.
We had hardly any, like, processed food. I remember...
That's why I'm dying before you.
Honestly, probably. I do remember it was, like,
the kids' cuisines were worth it.
The one thing she would, like, let me splurge on is, like... She'd sometimes get, like, Fruit Loops. And, like, when we had sugary cereal, I turned the fuck up. Because most of the time it was, like, granola. I remember we did, like, a lot of, like, plain Cheerios. Not even, like,
when I would go over to your house, I would starve. I'd be like, there's nothing here for me.
Or
desolate.
For me, it would be, like, fancy when my mom sprinkled, like, a little bit of sugar and cinnamon on the, like, plain Cheerios. I was like, yes! I was so excited. But yeah, I think honestly, like, I didn't really have the taste for it growing up, and so when I did finally get access to sugar, it was exciting, and I felt, like, grown up with it, but I think, I had a better idea of, like, what moderation was because of it. And I also, like, I don't know, like, it wasn't nostalgic to me.
She also probably didn't use it as, like, if you do this, you can get a candy.
Yeah.
Like,
no, yeah.
Because that's where a lot of body dysmorphia comes from, and problems with, like, sugar and
they, like,
desserts.
parents use it to, like, bribe the kids.
You associate it as, like, a reward, and it's, like, extra, and it's a treat. But actually, it should just be, like, a nutritious food that you eat sometimes, because we do need sugar sometimes. Yeah. And we, like, a little bit of sugar is fine. But if you associate it with, like, oh, this is only if I'm really good, then it can be, like, I'm going to run a mile and then I can eat the cupcake because I've been really good.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not really healthy.
No, yeah. And I think...
Because then it makes it forbidden.
And I don't know, like, maybe my mom was different like that with my sister. Being a boy, it's probably, like, a different standard, which is messed up. But, like, I don't think she ever did that consciously.
It is a lot different with boys and girls, like, brothers and sisters. Because, like, at least in our family, I noticed that the boys were, like... If they went for a 4th or 5th, like, chicken wing, or, like, a 17th... Or, like,
6 slice of pizza.
Yeah. It's like, oh, they need it. They're growing. They need
it was
protein.
Always, like, encouraged for the boys to eat.
And if a girl goes for it, it's like, whoa, honey.
Yeah.
You don't want it to get too big. Yeah. No boys are going to like you.
Look out there, Butterfingers.
Yeah. But, yeah, I would say the first thing I want to say about it is that this is the only body that you get. So you might as well be nice to it. Like,
appreciate it.
My whole life looked at other people's bodies and I'm like, oh, I wish I had their legs. I wish I had this. I wish, you know. And now I'm like, this is my body and I'm going to be nice to it because it's the only one I get. And I might as, like, what is it doing? What good is it doing to sit there and, like, drag it and criticize it?
Yeah.
It's not doing any good.
Well, it's a very universal experience too, I think, no matter who you are, to, like, be envious of how someone else looks or what other or their body or how it works. But honestly, I think gratitude and, like, appreciating what you have is key. Because if you think about it, like, there's people who, like, can't walk to the bathroom, you know, and, like, they need a wheelchair or, you know, whatever. And so, like, if you break it down and, like, put it in that perspective, that always helps me. And, like, practicing gratitude and being like, oh damn, like, I might not look like, you know, Brad Pitt, but like, at least I can, like, I can go for a run, I can swim, I can jump, I can do all these things, you know?
I always joke with Ethan that I have bingo wings, which is, like, when you have fat on your triceps.
Which she has nothing there, so it's, like, ridiculous.
My PE teacher actually told all of the girls that. She was like, if
that you had bingo wings?
No. Oh. She said, if you don't do tricep push-ups, you're going to get bingo wings one day, so thank me right now.
You were like, girl.
And I was like 14.
Oh my god.
Never had not like an ounce of fat on my triceps. But I always joke.
I mean, that probably is true. But like, she should be telling that to like 50-year-old women.
Yeah. So I always joke with Ethan, but lately I've been trying to say, like, at least I have arms to, like, hug my family. And like,
that's beautiful.
I'm so grateful for these arms that I can do such wonderful things with. And you know, make pottery and paint and play piano and be grateful for that.
Yeah, flick the bean. Some people have to, like, ride the public bus for hours back and forth and, like, stick the cucumber they just bought from the grocery store between their legs.
Ethan.
Listen, I'm giving you guys some free tips here.
Jesus.
But, like, honestly, it's not easy. Like, well, I mean, it is easy. But, like, it's easy to take for granted your body, and I think that, like, practicing that gratitude on a daily basis is important.
Yeah. Do you have any?
I do, yeah. I mean, some of my secrets to, like, having a positive body image are, like, the most basic and kind of obvious, but, like, honestly, something that has helped me is working out every day. And that doesn't have to mean, like, going to the gym. It can be as simple as, like, taking a walk around the neighborhood. The gym does help me a lot, like, both mentally and physically, because even if you could go to the gym and look pretty much the same for, like, a month, but the simple act of going gives you, like, the mental clarity and fortification of, like, feeling like you're doing something good to
you're
change
taking care of your body.
Yeah.
At least you're taking care of it and you're not, like, feeling like a slug.
And it's something.
I took a sex therapy class in my program, and she told us that studies have shown that when couples or people are struggling in their sex life, one thing that can help is simply going to the gym and working out, or in whatever way, moving your body. And it's not because they lose weight that they have better sex.
Yeah.
It's just the simple fact that they're going to the gym, and they found that even when people's body fat percentages and their body composition doesn't change very much, they still feel better and have better sex, because it's like, oh, I'm the type of person that goes to the gym, and it instills confidence.
Well, yeah, it does a lot for the
even
confidence.
If you're not your body's not changing very much. In actuality, it's you're the type of person that does that, and you're strong. You're the type of person that goes to the gym, and you're athletic, even if it's not changing as much. You know.
I mean, I don't know the exact science either, but like, I know that also hormonally, like when you do work out and exert yourself in that way, I think some like positive, like endorphins and stuff you get that are similar to like sex hormones are also released, and so like it can actually increase like libido and things like that. So yeah, I don't know, like the benefits are endless, but like yeah, if looking good naked is your motivation for going to the gym, then like do it, you know, that's something at least.
Yeah. Another one of my tips is your body is going to change from the time you're 15 to the time you're 25.
Yeah.
As it should. You're like, think about when you're little and you're like wondering like, what am I going to look like when I'm 25?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to be a young adult. And then one day I'm going to be 40 and I'm going to be a mom, or, you know, I'm going to be a career woman or whatever. And then you're 50 and 60 and then you're going to be an old lady. And it's not like you're looking down on it. You're like excited. You get to live in all these stages.
Yeah, it's really
your
cool.
25-year-old self is not the same as your 15-year-old self, and you cannot compare the two bodies. It's obviously going to change. Like, you're not exempt from aging in time. So.
No.
And no one is.
It's like it's so corny, but like, like the process of aging is a gift. Like it's kind of showing.
That's the goal. The goal is to age.
Yeah.
That's what everyone's trying to do.
Yeah, because if you're not, I mean, you're not here, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like that wrinkle that you get, or like the skin that's hanging, is like shows that you've like survived some shit. Like you've been around the block, and like you have like hopefully gained some wisdom.
I think of like Age of Adeline, where she doesn't age and everyone like romanticizes it, but if you watch the movie, she's actually like,
she's miserable
yeah, because all her friends like die off. Her like daughter ages and dies like before she does, and we're not meant to stop. And then when she gets her wrinkles, she like is so happy.
She's so happy
because she's like, oh my god, I'm normal like everyone else. Like this is what I'm meant to do. And
the whole process of aging gives life meaning. I mean, if you were young forever and had endless opportunity to like do what you want with your life, it would be like, you know, like it wouldn't mean anything if
like
you
vampires.
Yeah.
All the vampire shows, the vampires are depressed because they're not aging. That has more to do with aging, but yeah, you shouldn't compare your like 15-year-old self to your 25-year-old body. It's just not the same.
And kind of in that same vein is like, try to avoid engaging in negativity about your body. I've noticed that it's like weirdly like trendy too, to like criticize yourself.
Oh, it's like bonding, yeah.
Yeah, I mean they do it in like Mean Girls and shit, where they're all like looking in the mirror and they're like, oh, I hate my thighs, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Girls are probably more prone to this too, and gay men, honestly. Like we are very harsh on each other and on ourselves, especially. But yeah, like it's just, I don't really get that, like, I don't know, I don't get it. Because it's like, why would you, I get it, like you don't want to be too like into yourself. It's like, it's good to express a degree of humility, but.
Well, it's just fishing for somebody to be like,
yeah, it
no,
is
you're
fishing.
not.
And I guess I don't like that. But like at the end of the day too, even if you're not looking for a compliment, you're not doing yourself any services by pointing out all the things that are wrong with you, you know? Like, try to look at the glass as half full rather than half empty.
Yeah. On that note, I was also gonna say, like, lean into it and learn about what is normal when it comes to like body image, and remind yourself of that. Look at like the people around you and how everybody has cellulite and everybody has scars and acne, like most people who are human, we all get these. I've never met a single person who has never had a pimple.
Yeah.
Like, that just doesn't happen. And remind yourself of what it is to be human rather than like comparing yourself to people on Instagram. That is an edited photo. Obviously, they're going to remove the blemishes.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that's
for sure.
not real life. Like, remind yourself, go around and like talk to people about it and about this concept of like how we're all human and we all have this. I always beat myself up because I have cellulite and like I see girls that don't have it. But then I remind myself, something that's helped with that specifically is like my mom. I got it from my mom and she's always struggled with it. And I love her so much. She's like my role model and I think she's like the most beautiful woman.
Yeah.
And she's always been like when she was 16 and she was gorgeous supermodel, and even when she was like 50s, 70s, like she is beautiful inside and out in every way. So I'm like, okay, if I can think she is so beautiful with cellulite, like I can do that for myself.
Completely.
So.
And this is maybe slightly more toxic behavior, but if you're struggling with an insecurity, whether it's like bad skin or you feel really bad about like the shape of your face, go back and look at like 90s photos of celebrities, even like
oh my gosh,
2000s.
they look so normal.
Look up like celebrities with acne. There are hundreds of photos. They're just not on Instagram because why would people want to show themselves not looking great? You know what I mean? But they're out there. Like red carpet photos. If you look up like unfiltered red carpet photos, like you can see all the pores, all the skin.
The most beautiful people.
Yes.
But they're also human.
And these are like supermodels. You know what I mean?
They're also human.
You know, and not always like, yeah, exactly. So like no one is that, kind of like Molly was saying, no one is that perfect. Like you just have to like put it back into perspective and remember that like you're a hot bitch too. On
that note, I also wrote that like pictures never compare to real life. Like think about a sunset and how you can never capture a sunset in a photo. You also can never really capture what it's like to look at someone face to face in reality versus in a photo. And I'm sure you've seen like your friends' unflattering pictures and you're like, well, you don't look like that.
Yeah.
Like that's not what you look like in real life. Same goes to you.
It's so true. One of my good friends in high school actually, named Bella, I had like bad acne in high school, and thank God Accutane like helped. I like have left that in the past for the most part, but I remember like seeing a photo of myself and I was like, oh, like I hate it. It looks so bad. And she literally said that. It was like, yeah, well, you can't capture a sunset in like a photograph. And I was like, oh my God. And I will never forget it.
It's true.
So
yeah,
it's true. If you're ever feeling like you don't photograph well, or you're not the most photogenic, that does not mean anything. Like, most people, ask me and Molly, like, any photo that we post on Instagram is 1 out of 2,000 that we took.
Yeah, it's curated.
So, like, I promise you, like, no one looks good in every shot.
Yeah.
And, yeah, like, you don't have to be cute on camera to be hot and, like, look good and feel good about your body.
My litmus test is, like, are people still attracted to me? Do I get hit on in real life? Okay, then I'm still pretty cute.
Yeah, like, completely.
The pictures, you know, don't do me justice.
And anyone can fake it, you know what I mean? Like, it's way better to, like, have in-person appeal.
Yeah. What's another one of yours?
Let me see. Oh. Just try to remember that, like, having a good body image is a journey rather than something that you, like, just wake up with.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? Like, no one just, like, decided to... I mean, faking it can help, but, like... No one just woke up and, like, felt great about themselves. Like, you have to work to, like, build your self-esteem and get to a place where you feel really good about how you look and, like, what your body is. Whether that's, like, going to the gym, giving yourself positive affirmations in the morning, like, even just, like, looking in the mirror and being like, you know what, I like this about myself, I like this about myself. You know, even if it's, like, one thing. You know, like,
I will say, that reminds me of like cognitive behavioral therapy and how in that form of therapy we go through each one of the illogical and like hurtful thoughts you might have and you basically find evidence against them. And I think I've slowly in my 20s learned to do that with each thing. So like for my cellulite, I think about my mom and she's so beautiful. And then for like when I get a pimple, I'm like, well, I'm human. Like,
Yeah.
I've never met a person without a pimple. Like, it's gonna happen. And I'm also a woman who has a hormonal cycle that, like, when I'm on my period, I'm breaking out more. That's normal. Dry skin, like, also the same thing. Everybody has that. You know, and also just learning how to, like, manage all those things.
It's a lot. And whenever you have, someone else has the exact same problem or worse.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not alone in anything. So,
yeah.
I think just remembering that
Also,
is
it makes
huge.
life interesting when I, like, joke about some things. It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, completely.
Another
And
one
also, yeah, like you said, it makes you relatable to people.
makes
know
you
what I mean?
relatable. If you were a completely perfect AI model, then, like, what?
Yeah, part of me, like, feels bad for, like, Megan Fox because I know she just, like, walks into the room and people are like, this bitch. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like, when you really are, like, that flawless, like, and not to say that she is, but, like, as far as
Less
people...
approachable. They're
as
less
far as
approachable.
people go, like, she's pretty immaculate, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And yeah, it's hard to relate to them. You know, like, thankfully
also-
she's done a good job of humanizing herself, but...
Yeah, that also reminds me that, like, some of the most beautiful people I've ever met have not been conventionally attractive.
Yeah.
And probably like 80 to 90% of why they're beautiful is because of, like, their personality.
Yes.
Like, if you met somebody who's conventionally attractive and they're extremely awful and, like, a horrible person, you're immediately turned off. And you're like,
Completely.
actually, you're not that attractive.
80 to 90%
Yeah.
of the men that I've had sex with are so ugly. No, that's not true. They're not ugly. But they're not, like, on the cover of a magazine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's... But their attractiveness goes beyond literally their face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, I do think someone's energy can play a lot into their appeal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Definitely.
if someone is, like, giving off, like, a very shy... Don't approach me, I feel gross.
Or, like, I'm better than everyone else.
Insecure, or better than everyone else.
That's
like
not very
vibe,
attractive.
it's not attractive.
Yeah.
Like, being confident while simultaneously approachable.
Being humble.
And, yeah, humble or having, like, humility is the most attractive thing you can do, regardless of what you look like.
Yeah.
Physically.
Another one of mine is to embrace your natural qualities. Like, if you've ever seen somebody with a fake tan. Okay, no shame. I think... Hold on. I think each of these things...
Not you coming for the fake tan community.
I think Kobe just smelled your shoes.
That's not true. That's not true. Kobe, nobody asked for you to be here.
Oh my god. Okay, I think each one of these things I'm about to say can be used in a way to enhance your natural features and, you know, help your natural beauty. But if you've ever seen somebody with, like, a really dark fake tan, really heavy eyelashes, and, like, fake lashes, and, like, a lot of lip filler, you know, you do you, girl, but it's like...
No, and that sounds like we're coming from a judgy place, which I don't
I'm not
do.
judging. If you're happy, I'm happy that you're happy.
I
but,
think
like,
if that makes you confident...
just goes to show that embracing your natural qualities rather than trying to, like, cover them up and, like, really excessively hide whatever you're insecure about. Like, with me, I have really pale skin, so I've been really insecure and, like, had really dark fake tan. It did not look very good when I had really dark fake tan because I'm not meant to... my features don't complement that.
Yeah. No, it's true. Trying to stay within your color palette, your natural, like...
I also have lip
beauty,
filler, so...
all of that. Yeah, I mean... Anyone who, like, looks like they're trying to change their appearance that drastically is probably not going to be, like, attractive to other people. But I will say, like... That doesn't mean we're discouraging people from wearing makeup or doing whatever. Like, I think if it makes you feel great in the morning to, like, get up and, like, pop on the, like, 12-inch lashes that, like, fan people when you walk down the street, go for it.
I've just found that in my experience, like, as I've gotten older, if you saw, like, 21-year-old Molly, actually, I looked older at 21 than I do now.
Yeah.
Because I was, like, the fake lashes, the super
Heavy
dark
makeup,
fake tan,
yeah.
heavy
The
makeup.
dark contour.
Now I'm like, natural features, I'm sticking with the hair I have. My pale skin is not a big deal. It's whatever.
Yeah.
I always think like princesses, like they always have like pale skin. They're not. But then there's also like Moana, and she got super tan skin.
Yeah.
So, but I always think like, oh, I'm just a princess of the north, an Eskimo princess. I'm gonna lean into my
Eskimos have dark skin.
Oh my god, they do.
Did you think Eskimos are like albino?
No, I mean like, just like a northern princess.
Okay, yeah, you're giving like.
But Eskimos do have dark skin.
They do.
You're right. I'm not PC enough for this podcast.
I think they do,
I'm gonna
right?
get kids
Yeah.
on. Yeah, they do.
But anyway, yeah. I think you're 100% right.
Features.
Embracing what God gave you, what your parents gave you, is going to make
Instead
you
of trying to cover it up.
Yeah.
For a long time I was trying to cover it up and hide it because I was embarrassed I had pale skin.
Yeah.
And mousy brown hair is what girls call it. It's like the dull brown.
Oh. That's what like 90% of the population has.
It was like always promoted when I was younger. Oh, you have mousy brown hair. Like you want to get darker. Like you should go blonde. Like you don't want to be in the middle. It's dull and boring.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Weird. I didn't know that.
You can make people insecure about anything.
Yeah. See, but that stayed with you.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's those small things that, like, people cling on to, especially when you're young. That's why it's, like, you have to be so careful about what you say to kids.
Oh my god. The things that adults said to me as a kid, I'm like, I would never say that to a child.
It's wild. But yeah, no, honestly, I think that's a really good point. We talked about this a little bit, but just like be grateful for the way that your body serves you. Whether it's exercise, your ability to see, like, you know what I mean? Like, some people are really, literally blind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like literally like look at your body and be like, okay, maybe I don't like how this looks, but like I can still pick things up. I can drive my car.
Also point out the things about your body you do like.
Yeah, no,
what
that's
you like about it, and really talk about that first to ease yourself into getting comfortable with liking your body. Like, this is random.
That should
really
always
like
be the
my
focus.
feet.
Yeah.
So when I was first getting into like self-love, I was like, my feet, they're pretty cute.
Yeah.
And like, I like my eyes. They're okay. And my lips, like I have big lips, so that was like eased me into it. And then I was like, okay, let's talk about the stomach I'm not so fond of. Speaking of stomach, I also wrote this, which is hard to explain, but it's kind of interesting. So like also part of what I was saying about how leaning into like focusing on people, normal people that are around you, and how everybody has cellulite and everyone has acne.
Yeah.
Also getting to learn what, I don't know how to explain it. Like, as I've gotten older and grown into like being a woman, learning the parts of my body and like parts of just having a menstrual cycle, that I have a 4-week cycle, that things change, has really helped. Because I'm like, okay, if I have a pimple this week, it's because it's my luteal phase, blah, blah, blah. So like becoming educated about what is normal about being a woman is what I'm trying to say, has helped, because then I'm not like, oh, I'm pizza face.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, I'm just a woman. And another part of that was also going to the OB and learning that I have an anterior tilted what's it called? Uterus. Anterior tilted uterus, because my whole life I've been so insecure about my little pouch underneath my belly button, like this little bit of fat that sticks out and protrudes,
which you like don't even have.
and I'm so insecure, and I always tried to cover it up when I was little, and I hated being in bikinis because all the other girls have flat stomachs, and I've never not had a pouch my whole life. I've always had it. And I went to the OB when I was like in my 20s, early 20s, and they're like, oh, you have an anterior tilted pelvis. And I was like, what does that mean? And they're like, it means your uterus leans forward, and that's what makes you have a pouch. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I thought I was fat my whole life. I just have a freaking, like...
Your uterus is just
I have a lazy uterus. It just sticks out.
Does that mean when you get pregnant, is your baby gonna be like
it's gonna be way far out, yeah. She's gonna be really far out. Yeah.
I can't wait for that. You're gonna like reach to open the door, but you won't be able to reach because the baby will be like touching the wall.
But I'm trying to say, like, learning what it is to be a woman and how my body changes and those parts of my body that are associated with the womanhood, and becoming educated about it has really helped my body image, because I'm not like, oh, I have a fat pouch and I'm a pizza face. No, actually, I'm just a woman with an anterior tilted uterus and hormones. So.
But also, even if there isn't like a biological reason for you to look a certain way, I promise you, no matter what you look like, it's someone's thing.
But
it's
also,
what they're
yeah,
into.
even if I didn't have that, like 99% of women do have fat on their lower stomach, because it is meant evolutionarily to protect your ovaries so that you can reproduce. So that is why when you starve, that little bit of fat that protects your pelvis is the last to go when you're starving, because it's your body's last chance to reproduce and like keep the line going.
I didn't know that.
So that's why when you're trying to lose weight, it's really difficult to get rid of that pouch, and the only women that don't have it have like 6% body fat, which is not necessarily
or get it like lipoed out.
healthy for your hormonal health, because women are meant to have like a little extra layer of fat.
Yeah.
It's healthy for your hormones. If you've ever met a really skinny woman, she usually doesn't have a period because her hormones are thrown off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say too, if you're ever feeling like your body doesn't look great, or like you aren't like the picture of like Men's Health, or like you're gonna be on the cover of like a magazine or anything like that, like go to like your local like YMCA and just like go to the locker room. You'll see some oldies looking naked. I'm telling you, but like those are real people. Do you know what I mean?
Like you're what I was trying to say about surrounding yourself with real people.
Yes, but like you shouldn't be comparing yourself to like literally, you know, Heidi Klum, because that's not 90% of the population.
No.
You know? And like no one looks like that. You know what I mean? Which is why it's like it's important to like keep in mind that like you're not competing with her because you can because you can't, and also because it's like she lives in a very different reality than most of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she
like,
doesn't have to go to her 9 to 5. She doesn't have a 9 to 5.
Literally.
She doesn't have the stress of having to wake up at 6 a.m. to go work out, or like do it after work when she's exhausted.
Yeah.
She wakes up and the only thing she has planned for that day is going to the gym for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So
and then like
don't compare
modeling
yourself.
and serving kind.
Yeah.
But like you can do that too if that's what you want to do. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's easy to get caught up and it's easy to compare yourself, especially in the age of social media, and we talk about this a lot, but it is important to remember that like no one posts a photo that hasn't been edited at least like 5 times, or you know what I mean, like isn't like one of like 100 photos that they took. Like especially with this is always like bothers me about like candid photos too, is because 90% of the time candid photos, at least on social media, are like staged. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not even like a real candid
Whenever
photo.
Ethan and I take a candid photo, I'm always like, laugh, bitch.
Yeah. No, literally the behind the scenes is like us torturing each other,
to try
and
to
it's
get
like
us to laugh naturally.
literally it looks like we're like posing for like an Old Navy ad or something.
Yeah.
But that's not even reality either. You know what I mean? Like we probably took like 40 candid photos as well.
And I follow these like really gorgeous influencers, and I was listening to their podcast a while ago, and they were saying like,
was it us?
oh yes, obviously. No, and then somebody asked them like, how do you get such good like bikini pictures and everything, and they were like, oh well, I have been doing this for like 20 years, so you're like, just remember that. And they were also like, remember also that my camera roll is filled with like 200 options of me perfecting the angle until I get it right, and that's all they do is like just sit there for 2 hours and try to get the right angle. So
which also
your picture that your aunt like Linda took of you is not gonna look the same as her
not
perfected like 200th picture.
But also one could argue that like taking that many photos to begin with isn't very healthy. You know what I mean? Like you probably don't have a healthy body.
I'm just trying to say
image
like
if you
the
feel
pictures
need.
you see on there are curated.
Yeah, no, of course.
And selected, like selectively picked.
Yeah, it's so true. Honestly, same for TikTok. Like, just because you see a video of someone and they're moving doesn't mean that they didn't take like 12 other takes of that same video, you know?
The video at a different angle would look much different.
Yeah.
I love the like influencers that are body positivity, and they're like, my body looks like this and they look hot, but it also looks like this.
And they like turn sideways or whatever.
They turn sideways, or like they roll their pants down and you can see they have like love handles, and those are normal.
Yeah.
And also, who wants to like cuddle with a bone?
Yeah, no one. Why did you give me that dirty look? Oh my god.
Cause you too
Are
bunny.
you body shaming?
Ethan's
I'm
visiting.
in my big back era. I'm getting bigger in the gym. Give me a break.
Ethan's visiting, and I've been making him food, and I've been saying, "You need to eat, you growing boy."
She does. She does this.
Yeah, growing boy.
Extremely confusing accent.
Protein.
I still don't know what.
We don't know what.
I still don't know what culture this is, what
ethnicity.
language. But I'm scared that if I don't eat, something bad will happen to me. So yeah. But yeah, honestly, get out there. Don't be embarrassed to like take your shirt off at the pool with your friends. They don't care. Like I think about being a young kid, especially being gay. It's like you're always insecure.
I hated being in a bikini.
You never want to like show your body. But I promise you, everyone's embarrassed of how they look. Everyone's awkward about it, and you're gonna look a lot more confident, a lot more attractive if you just go for it. You know
Something
what I mean?
I heard also about like bikini bodies is like we stress so much about it, but like you've gone to the beach. Can you like tell me one person that you've seen at the beach and you still remember like what they look like in their bikini?
Yeah.
Or in their like swim trunks?
No, that doesn't happen.
No. Nobody cares.
No.
I don't remember anyone that I've seen. Like, even my friends, I don't know what they look like in a bikini. I'm not paying attention.
You're not thinking about it.
Nobody is paying attention.
Yeah.
Like,
unless it's literally like Henry Cavill or someone.
Oh, yeah. I would remember that. I would remember that one.
Burned into my memory.
But literally nobody.
But yeah, no one's paying it. Honestly, that has been one of the biggest things in helping me with my confidence is just coming to the realization. And I do think you have to live to be a certain age, I think, to reach this understanding, but like most people aren't thinking about you. Like they're not.
No.
It's not in the way that you're thinking about yourself, you know?
Everyone is focused on themselves.
Everyone's focused on themselves, so trust me when I tell you that like they're not gonna care if you like take your shirt off.
That has helped me a lot with public speaking too, randomly.
Yeah.
Is because when other people are giving speeches, I am zoned out.
Yeah.
I'm not paying attention.
No,
Unless it's
of
really
course not.
interesting, then
you
I'm
maybe
like,
catch like 30 seconds of it, but then you're like on your phone, you're on TikTok.
I don't give a shit.
Like,
if they mess up, I'm not paying attention.
Yeah.
So I've just thought to myself when I get up there and I get really nervous because I have stage fright, I'm like, I was not paying attention to the last person. None of these people in here are paying attention to me.
I'm thinking about going home and having like the leftover pasta in my fridge. Like there's so many other things that's happening in my head.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't be embarrassed. Don't overthink it. And yeah, love yourself. Love your body.
Love yourself. Do affirmations, right? Like, you're so hot on your bathroom mirror and like, you look great and you're gonna do great today.
Yeah.
And just trick your brain.
And I would encourage you, if you are someone who really struggles with body image, to get used to just like seeing yourself naked. It sounds weird, but like
actually, yeah.
If you live alone, or even if you have like your own room, just spend like, I don't know, 45 minutes. You could be like, after you get out of the shower, walking around your room naked, maybe make sure the curtains are closed, unless you're the naked neighbor like I am. And just like vibe, whether you like watch a Netflix show or like, you know, hang out, like do your homework, because it's gonna get you comfortable with like the physicality of who you are. And when you walk around all day in like baggy clothes or in a t-shirt or whatever, like you can put a degree of separation between what you look like.
You don't have to look at yourself.
You don't have to look at yourself in the same way, you know? And like that's fine, but like you shouldn't feel like you have to run from yourself like that.
I have 2 things to say about that. Number one, that reminded me of when I was in my fitness era after my toxic breakup, and I was like, I'm gonna get so fit.
Yeah.
And part of that meant that I had to eat a lot of protein.
Oh yeah.
So I would wake up in the morning and I'd be like, I had just worked out the day before, I felt really skinny. By the end of the day, my stomach, TMI, but it was like protruding.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, I'm eating so much protein, like my stomach is protruding. And then I thought to myself like, well, I have to look at like this at night so I can look like better in the future.
1000%.
Like I need to be intaking this much protein to look better. And I did, it worked. Like, and I was like, this is normal. It's normal that my stomach is like full of food and needs to digest. I'm human.
Ask any guy who's ever like bulked for the gym. Like you do the like 2 or 3 months or whatever where you like eat a ton of protein and you get big and like you may look like fuller in the face and the body. Like you're not going to be as chiseled. But then when you do get that protein that your body needs and put that energy into working out,
yeah,
it shows, and you do like see a difference.
Yeah, and then you also reminded me, my friend, she was telling me, she's from my program, and she was telling me that she has always struggled with her body image and weight loss, and she said when she was in therapy, she was like, she was telling the therapist, I get really insecure when like men touch my stomach, and I hate when anyone touches my stomach. I can't handle it. I get really insecure.
Who's, like,
she's not pregnant. Like,
why
men
are people
do
touching
that.
her stomach?
Men in bed, like they'll touch.
Oh, okay, like in like a sexual or like romantic setting.
Like she doesn't in a romantic setting.
I thought people were just like rubbing your belly like Buddha.
No, in like a romantic setting.
Okay,
And she's like, I don't like men being near my stomach or seeing it or touching it.
Sure.
And the therapist was like, you need to touch your own stomach and just like hold it. And just hold your stomach.
That's a really good point.
And become comfortable with it. Because how can you be comfortable with someone else touching it if you're not comfortable with it?
Interesting.
And like accepting it and thinking about it being there. So she said she would just like rub her stomach and hold her stomach. And like kids do that. Have you ever seen, they just pinch their fat for no reason. They're like, look at
I
me.
do it to myself all the time. Yeah.
And it's because they're like learning about their body and becoming comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's true. Don't be afraid to touch yourself.
And on that note, thank you so much for listening to Personally I Wouldn't. And yeah, we love you. We appreciate you. I'm so grateful to everyone that listens to us yap. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
I'll play back these videos and episodes, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so annoying.
Yeah.
But I gotta love myself.
I'm like, oh, he's so wise.
He's so wise. He's so smart.
He knows so much, and his voice is so sexy.
But my cat is about to attack us. I can feel it. So we gotta go.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
I love you.
Catch
Bye.
you next week.